Welcome, another edition of Smart Chat here on YouTube.com, and thank you for watching, like, and subscribing to my channel. If you haven't done so, please do so right now. I do want to do a quick little raw thoughts, opinions from 11/9 of 2015 from Raw. And this is in no particular order. Where do we begin, huh? How about when Zeb Colter comes out with Alberto Del Rio? Zeb Colter pretty much, cuts a promo saying how great Mexico is, rags on the crowd, and Del Rio goes, "You're right. You're right." He's looking at him. Del Rio's looking at Colter as he's speaking. "You're right." I don't know. It kind of looks doofy. I mean, can we have Zeb Colter first speak, and then you bring out Del Rio if Colter's going to be the mouthpiece? It kind of looks goofy. I don't know. With Del Rio just looking at Colter and listening to him. Speaking of which, Del Rio, when he first came out, he got a nice little pop. I just don't see him being over. I don't see him being world champion again. Oh, it's just me. Speaking of pop, did you guys pop when you seen the Brothers of Destruction reunited? Kane, Undertaker, come out. Do a number on the Wyatt family. First off, a few things there. What was going on with Undertaker's face? Too much of that fake tan spray thing? Jeez, look a little bit silly. As far as this, I'm going both ways with it. Obviously, you're going to have the Wyatt family versus Kane and Undertaker right now. But I just don't see it being a traditional like Survivor Series, a traditional 4-on-4. I think it might be just like a 2-on-2. Bray Wyatt, insert any member of the Wyatt family, maybe a Harper or Rowan. I just don't see it with two guys that are going on the way out, as far as Kane and Undertaker, taking out the Wyatts, like let's say a Strowman, for example, who's coming on the way in. How are you going to make this work? You have to protect the members of the Wyatts. How would you make this work? That way the Wyatts are protected. See it being a 2-on-2. What are you going to eliminate? Strowman? Or you're going to eliminate Harper? I don't know. I just don't see it happening. They're going to protect the Wyatt family. I just don't see it happening being a traditional 4-on-4. How can you do it to make it work, make it look good, and not lose credibility for the Wyatt family? Just a hunch I'm having. On the opposite side of things, I could possibly see maybe the Dudley Boys teaming up with the Brothers of Destruction. Because being that the Dudleys, when it was the tag team of Harper and Rowan, that was like a dream match that everyone was talking about. So I could see that possibly happening. I don't know. I just don't see being a traditional 4-on-4 or even 4-on-2 with the Wyatt family against Kane and Undertaker, because you got to protect the members of the Wyatt family. Your Rowan, your Strowman. Just me anyway. With that being said, you also had the continuation of the "We Want Sasha" chants. And now I think WWE is doing it purposely, where you're putting Sasha Banks in less match because they want to hear that big pop when Sasha Banks finally does fight. And what happens more often than not is people just chant just for the heck of chanting it. Case in point, remember the "We Want Lana" chants? You put in Lana, you actually bring her out then, and it's like, no one really cared. So it's just a matter of, are people just chanting "We Want Sasha" just to chant, or are they really thirsting to see Sasha? To be determined, I guess. I don't see how, week to week it obviously varies with the territory, with the location of Raw. But today you've seen that Roman Reigns was getting booed. Booed, was he? He's clearly the guy that's next in line. You've seen it coming even before the Seth Rollins injury. Now, the only way I see this working, and I do think that it will be Seth Rollins that ultimately, it will be Roman Reigns that ultimately wins at Survivor Series. The only way I see this happening, being that the fans are still kind of up in the air, they really want to dictate everything. The only way I see Roman Reigns being successful as being a title holder is if he joins the Authority. And maybe the seeds were planted already this past week. Speaking of Seth Rollins, made a video, check it out. Posted it on Twitter before Raw went on the air. Before, being that it was tape delay. It was just my thoughts and who would win. But Seth Rollins is now off and will be out for an extended period of time, probably 9 to 10 months after suffering an injury. Did you know, by the way, that Seth Rollins, since 2012, when he first debuted, has not missed a single Raw? 3 years he's been on our TV. Do you guys feel that it's a little bit of too much exposure for Seth Rollins? Always on the damn TV, and you guys complain about John Cena, right? Seriously. Well, now that Seth Rollins is gone for a little bit, now let's be honest with each other. He is the worst champion as far as rating-wise since Diesel. You have that tournament that I mentioned, and some things don't make sense to me as far as this tournament. Klitschko. Why is he, Klitschko, the Lucha Dragon, why is he in this tournament against Ryback? Do you think he has a chance against Ryback? Is it because they're trying to push him to be the next Rey Mysterio? If you look at him, he's almost like the mannerisms, almost like a Rey Mysterio clone. Speaking of which, things that don't make sense for me as far as the little things. How are you going to throw a guy in the tournament who hasn't even had a match on Raw until the tournament match was being his first match? Tyler Breeze. Couldn't you put in a guy like Sandow in there, perhaps? I mean, come on. I know I'm not shitting on Tyler Breeze. I know Tyler Breeze is a great worker who do great things. But throwing him in the tournament when he hasn't even had a match? Come on. I'm sure you have other guys there that you could throw. Throw in Sandow. I don't know. Just a little thought there. Another thought. What was the other thought? Oh, yes. Yes. With the Usos back, it's evident that they are the now new number one contenders for the championship. I think the Dudleys becoming championship, winning the championship, and I know I've said this a few times, it's pretty much on the back burner for the time being. Don't see New Day losing that title, though. If, in fact, that match is made at Survivor Series. New Day, man, just continues to impress. Speaking of impress, and gotta give it to Sheamus versus his match with Cesaro. First time you heard a "this is awesome" chant for a Sheamus match, right? First time in years. We speak about a guy that has no momentum. That, unfortunately, is Sheamus. You know, sometimes I think that guys like Sheamus and with his briefcase and Barrett with his crown, they're given these props, these gimmicks, because there's really nothing for them. If you remember Sheamus before he won the Money in the Bank, if you remember Barrett before he became King Barrett, they were all on massive losing streaks. Massive. So, interesting to see what will further develop. Make no mistake about it, too. Going back to the Divas. Lynch, really, I haven't seen much of her. Doesn't seem like creative really knows what to do with her. But no, make no mistake about it. The only reason why she was fighting there was that way she could be attacked by Paige. That way Charlotte could make the run-in. Still, Becky Lynch really has no rhyme or reason to her. Just like Neville, the man that creative forgot, was Becky Lynch, the female wrestler that creative forgot. Just some of my thoughts from Raw. And the next coming weeks, it will be interesting to see, now that Seth Rollins is gone, who will step up and take his spot, because that always happens. Once one person is gone, people move up the chain. Interesting to see where Kevin Owens will go from here. What will happen with Dean Ambrose. Roman Reigns, I think, will be the title holder. Interesting couple of weeks. Until next time, adios, over and out.